Okay. Okay, so I think a lot of you already know Salesforce. Few of you have not worked before in Salesforce, but I think the people who have not worked before on Salesforce, I would recommend you to go to the Trailhead. And do you guys all have your developer instance created? Salesforce developer instance.
Yes.
Yes. So, everybody is admin certified, so no problem. They know it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So now that's really good. It means I'm trying to look at all this thing. Okay, so yesterday only I created one login one dev instance so that we can work. Let me see what is that instance I created. So LWC one. Okay, now tell me how many of you have installed the VS Code? If you have not done it, that's okay. But if you have not done it, then we have to let you know where to and how to install them. Have you guys installed? Any of you have experience installing the Visual Studio Code and then connect Salesforce or instances? Okay, so I will open the chat window. This is the chat window. This is my chat window. So guys, please try to make the sessions interactive. If you have not, I mean, if I ask you some questions, please try to answer. If you give wrong answer, that is okay. So if you see, like, learning is always fun. If you are not having fun, which means you are not learning. So please try to remember this beautiful quote while you learn. And it's okay to forget things. Don't try to remember it is existential. I mean, if you learn something rightly, you will remember it. Okay, don't force your brain to remember things. Okay? And there are few things. I mean, you might do things wrong, and that's how you have the experience, and then you make the right decisions. This is the cycle of the life. So, I mean, in our experience, we have made a lot of wrong decisions. We have done a lot of wrong things, and that's where we got the experience of doing the right things. So if you feel like you always do the right things, that is not the life about. In our personal life and also in professional life, we have done many wrong things, and that's why we are called experienced people, right? So please keep all these good quotes in mind, and then it would be easy for you to learn anything new. Hmm. So with said that, uh, as Animesh mentioned that you all have uh, admin experience, right? So can someone tell me, if I come here, right, and let's say if I want to open one opportunity record, what do I do? Are you guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So if I want to open one opportunity, right? Let's say I opened one opportunity and I clicked on here, right? Maybe let's take a small example. Let's this one, right? So do you all know how these screens are coming? Any idea how these screens are coming? I mean, what are these related? If I want to take something off, if I want to add something, what do I do? Anyone?
Through lightning web page, there is an
Yeah.
option called edit page. So if we go to there,
Okay.
we can drag and drop that.
Okay. Good. So thanks for your input. So if I come here, I see the related options, right? And I can delete it. Let's say I delete them.
Yes.
And you see the details here. You see the activities. So if you look at the left side, right, it is Salesforce has given uh, the component. We call it standard components. If you look at the left side, right, it says components, and in the left side you have all these components, and then you drag and drop. Like if I want to, let's say, drop this component, and then I can relate. I can assign uh, some of the object, or the parameters which can be set for this component, and then I can go from there, right? So that's how the standards components were given by the Salesforce itself. So if there is no such component can fit your requirement, in that case, we may need to create our own component, and that will come under this custom component. Okay, so we'll come one by one. We have to understand what is the need of the LWC first before we go learn them. So if you have given the requirement and you are not sure whether you can use any standard component given by Salesforce, then the other option is you build your own component, because you are building the component. That's why it is called custom component, and then you can use them in your component. So there are several technologies or the languages you can use. You can create those custom component. One of the latest and greatest um, language that we are using to create the custom component is Lightning Web Component. So if let's say, I mean, I just wanted to brush up a few of the things that you have done already, right? So could you tell me what I should do if I want to display some message like, this is an opportunity record and the amount shows $15,000, right? So let's say if the opportunity is $100,000, more than $100,000 amount, I want to display a message saying this is a hot deal. Please, work well on this one. Please be sensitive on this opportunity. Meaning, I have to display some message on this opportunity. How do I do that? Can you tell me, any of you?
Should we add a rich text?
Okay, and then?
And maybe filter it.
Yeah, very nice. So I can drag the rich text, okay, and the input of the rich text is something that I can enter, right? So this is a hot deal. Please work on the opportunity. Right click, for example, okay. And let's say I am giving this one, and then if I am dynamically I want to display only when the amount is more than 100,000. So I can create a filter and say if it is greater than or equal 100,000, then only it is shown. Right? So if I, let's say, save it, you have to activate. So I'm activating it. Assign to default dot for both desktop and phone. Hoping you know all this. And then if I come back to the opportunity, it is not showing here. Why it is not showing here?
I think the filtering criteria is not fulfilled.
Yeah, filtering criteria is not fulfilled. So if I go ahead and then let's say make the amount as 200K, which is fulfilling the criteria, and look what will happen. If I save it, it is coming here, right? So
Yeah.
this is the standard component I am using because the requirement I gave you, based on that, you thought, okay, I have some standard component that can be used to fulfill the requirement. That is very crucial to understand the requirement first. So before knowing things, you really have to understand the requirement well, and then think, do I have any standard component available to fulfill the requirement? Okay. And then you have to think of whether the standard component can be able to fulfill the requirement. If not, then you have to think what you need to do to fulfill the requirement. Okay, now if I come back here in the home page, for example, right? Now, let me give you a requirement that I want to display, let's say, this is opportunity, let's say opportunity XYZ is the highest opportunity ending in this week. This is a very hot deal. Please work on these as soon as possible. If I want to display, what will happen? I mean, if I want to display the message, can someone tell me? So my requirement is I want to know the highest amount from the system opportunity which is expiring this week, and then show that opportunity name and then display a message saying this is a very hot deal. Please work on this opportunity. Okay, so let's say, I mean, if I
understand we have to put, we have to take the max amount, max salary. That will be
so,
calculated in the highest salary,
yeah,
I
so
think.
requirement is the max of opportunity ex, uh, expiring. Sorry. Mm, Expiring this week, and then I have to display um, this is a very critical deal. Please work on this. So how do you do that?
Process is like same, just we have to change the filtering criteria.
But so understand the requirement little bit of different way. So when I was in that, I was in a record page. So this is called a record page, right? Record page
Yes.
means what? It has a record. So Salesforce, this is the Salesforce ID, right? If I'm
Mm-hmm.
highlighting, and then 06 indicates it's an opportunity record. Hmm? So if
Okay.
you go here, let's say Salesforce ID fix. Look at this. So it says 001 means account, 006 means opportunity. Okay. 000Q means lead. So that's how Salesforce prefix their standard object, right? So now if I go to the account and then open any account, see, this is the Salesforce and it starts with 001, right?
Okay.
And then if I go here, click on the opportunity, I see this is my Salesforce ID starts with 006, right? So now you can bookmark this website. Salesforce Van is a very popular website. So there are few things that you should follow. Those are very useful and helpful. I'm just giving it in the chat window. Based on the prefix, first three prefix numbers or the values, you can know that which one is from which object. So now let's say so when I was in opportunities, because you are referring to a record of the opportunity, this is called a record page, right? But is that a record page?
No.
So how do I get the very highest valued opportunity? Do I have a way to know?
So we can use through the prefix as the 006 resembles to opportunity. So we can use this if the prefix ID. I think so. I'm just guessing. It's a
No,
wild
I think
guess.
let me ask this to Vikas, Sai, Monica, Gaurav. Could you tell me? Because you have experience in working Aura or some part of the development. Do you guys know? Hello, guys. Why,
Yes.
why I'm doing all this? Because these are important to know when to do what. If I just tell you like this is LWC, this is what you should do, then you will know it, but you will not understand it. So knowing things and understanding things are different. Understanding things will help you do the right thing. Okay. So I mean the people who are development experience, could you please answer my questions if possible? If you, I mean, if you don't know, say I don't know, that's fine. Try. Anyone? Okay. So if you look at this one, because I have to look for a specific opportunity which is the highest amount and expiring this week, which means it is a very specific need. I mean, it is not asking me uh, to 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 get the things in a standard way. Okay, and also, I mean, along with that opportunity, I have to display the message. Okay, with that in a component. So what what I have to do to get the opportunity record, right? I have to make a query. I have to make a query to the Salesforce object, Salesforce opportunity object, saying, give me the highest amount opportunity which is expiring this week. Okay, if I get that, then I will say this is the hot deal, and then please work on this one very well, pretty well. So this is a sort of custom requirement that is not thought through by the Salesforce standard way. That's why I may need to create the custom component. Okay. So two things. I mean, one is displaying the hot deal, which can be done in the standard way based on the requirement given in the opportunity record pages. But if I have a specific requirement which I can't fulfill in the standard way, that can be done through the custom way. And to do the things in custom way, you have to use some language to create the component. Okay, and that's where the LWC discussions is coming into the picture. Okay. Any question? Okay. So app builder, I think, yeah, we are not discussing. Okay. So if you
Suman, sorry,
yeah, please.
I'm interrupting. So can you please show once how you do that? I just want to know
Which one we do
the
that?
highest one, the maximum.
Oh yeah, that's why we are meeting here, right? I mean, it is not
Okay.
the time yet. I will let you know. I mean, you have to understand what are the things you have to do and in which way. So how we, I mean, what we have to do, that we understood, right? I mean, we have to create a custom component. Now, how we can create the custom component and what are the things we need to use, that is what the part of this all LWC learning and discussions. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, hold tight. I mean, we will discuss all this. The next is there are few sites which I think you all should bookmark. Those are so as you guys are in your local area. So Salesforce has a community group in most of the cities now around across the world. So if you come here and then search with this one, right, Trailblazer community group, you will see you will see this screen coming out, right? So here you can search, let's say Kolkata, India. Okay, you will see, these are the different groups that is there in Kolkata. If I know this group, if I click here, you will see Salesforce Developer Group Kolkata, India, and these are the people running the group. These are the public group. I mean, definitely a lot of private group exist, but these are the public group. And if I look at this one, Salesforce Admin Group Kolkata, India, group leader is Gopal Das. There is no upcoming event, so that's how you can search. Which group is there near to your city. Let's see if I do Pune, India. I will see a lot of groups. So if you can, if you want to join, click on there and then join this group. So that way you will get notifications what these groups are doing, if they have any upcoming meetings and all, and then you can contribute. So if you do that, that's how you create your network. Okay, so only going to office and doing your work not help. You have to build your connections. Okay, and how, I mean, there are several ways you can make your connections. This is one of the way you can make your connections. So remember this one. And so to understand the LWC concept, how it came, right, and how it is today, we have to know a little bit of a history of the JavaScript. So JavaScript was actually invented in 1995 by Brendan H. It was sort of private proprietary at those point of time, but in 2 years it became popular, and it is being named as ECMA standard, and ECMAScript is the official name of the language. So JavaScript, which is known as the ECMAScript, okay, and it is often abbreviated as ES. ES means ECMAScript. So if we look at this one, the first edition was launched on 1997 with a standard. Okay, and then every year, I mean, almost alternate year, they kept on adding things into the script, and then the language was being upgraded. Okay, so the way it was named initially as let's say ES1, ES2, ES3, like that. Okay, and you see ES5. Okay, ES 5.1. If you look at this one, there are things that are added to the language, and from 2015, the ECMAScript was named by the year. So if you look at this one, though the first thing came on 1997 called ES1, 1998 ES2, 1999 ES3, and then 4, and then 5 in 2009. 2011 it is called 5.1, but from 2015 it is called ECMAScript 2015. I mean, from 2015 it is named by the year, and there has been evolution from 2014-15. Almost every year it is becoming the standard, and then it is going so fast, and different languages were adopting these ECMAScripts. Okay, so this one is very important website. You should bookmark this one. it talks about the ECMAScript editions, how it came and how it is working, what are the supported browsers and everything. You all have to know. And also, if you go to the W3 schools, okay, you will get to know different front end language. You see, C, C Sharp, R, JSON, React, Node.js, MySQL. Every language you can learn from this website. So this is a very popular website that I follow on a regular basis. So you can bookmark this website. Okay, I will just give it to you. Now next is, I mean, Salesforce. Very early days, there was one scripting language that they used is called Visual Force, which is not used anymore. And though there are few legacy build applications are using the Visual Force, but from 2014, the Salesforce stack and the technologies has been pretty much changing and evolving year by year. So you will see the evolution from 2014 till now, and then there has been plan by Salesforce in doing many things. So LWC is the latest trend that are used to create the components. But if you look at the 2014 web stacks, right, it was like this: framework and web standard. So can someone explain me what is standard and what is framework? Any idea? Don't look at the slide. Just tell me, what is standard and what is framework? Okay, so let's take an example, like let's say Indian marriage ceremonies. Okay, so we know for marriage there are basic needs that needs to be done. Meaning, let's say you need to have a boy and girl. You need to have two families which are being bond. There are few certain things which is done across different states. Okay, so the things which are done in the same way across different states is the standard, I can say. But if you look at the Calcutta way of the marriage happens in Calcutta is different than the marriage happens in, let's say, Kerala, or in, let's say, Jammu Kashmir, or in Gujarat, right? So we know, I mean, there are some standard are being followed, but there are different ways the marriage happens in different states, right? So there are some specific way of executing the marriage. So that is what we call it a framework, right? So if all the states are following some pattern, that is the standard. If they are having some specific way of doing things, that is called the framework, right? So now, if you look at early days, meaning 2009 to 2014, you will see there are a lot of new JavaScript framework created, like Node.js, React, jQueries. We named a lot, right? I mean, we have seen this in the in our W3 tool. If you look at this, right? So there are Bootstrap, Node.js, React, Angular. So there are a lot of framework language which were built on top of the core JavaScript, and then those frameworks were used to build your uh, features or the functionalities. So now, if I go back to this one, if you look at this one, right? So there are standard elements, rendering and things, but if you look at the framework, the data service, UI component model, template, render optimizations, modules, language extensions, those are all built by that specific framework language. So now look at this. I mean, if you are into one framework, let's say you know AngularJS, you may not know the Node.js because it follows a different framework and pattern, right? If you know React, you may not know Node or Angular because that framework follows a different pattern. So similarly, when someone from Kolkata goes to a marriage in Pune, they will see a different way the marriage is being done, right? So she or he might feel, oh my god, it's a different way, right? So I have no idea of what are the rituals in their state. So you may have to learn what are the rituals in that state. So similarly, if you want to learn some other framework or the language, you have to know that. So that's a skill that needs to be built. Okay, so more framework you have, more skills needs to be built. A more standard you have, less skills you have to build because you know the skill already across India. So that's why we want to generalize things which can be done commonly across the country or across the thing. So technology is not an exception. So we wanted to the goal is to do the things in a standard way so that you don't have to specifically build something which is subjectively done by you for your need. If you come back to the 2019 stack, you see that web standards are more, less at the framework. Okay, so see the difference. I mean, a lot of things are now standard which used to be in the framework. So you are doing things in the standard way now. So you are not following the framework. So the goal is someday you will have not much framework. More it will be standard. So that if you don't have to change technologies frequently if you want to work in some specific thing, right? A standard can maybe fulfill the need. So the similar way, if you look at this one, right? Let's say you are sorry. If you look at this one, right? So let's say if I go edit this page, you will see a lot of standard component are given by Salesforce. Okay, now let's say you have created one custom component, and I mean the requirement that I gave, right? I mean, give me the highest opportunity which is expiring today and display some message, right? Let's say most of the companies are using this component. So which means in all the companies, the developers are creating the same component, right? And then Salesforce is observing, oh, okay, so every companies are creating the similar component to fulfill a similar requirement. So maybe the next few companies, I mean the future companies may not need to make this component custom. So let me think of what is their need and then do a standard. Okay, so what you do when you see people are doing the same thing by themselves, as a governing body or as a owner of the product or as a administrator of the country, I want to standardize so that this can be easily available for anyone in future. Okay, so that is the thing. I mean, which means you have a specific requirement which is now being done by many of the companies. So now let's think of the standardization. So another good example you can think of, early days. I mean, I don't know which age group you guys are in, but early days we used to go to the tailor to make our shirts, pants, and dresses, right? Now today you go to the mall and then say this is my size and give me the dresses, right? So that's how these are being simplified or standardized. So there is no such a process of going to the tailor shop, uh, 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 give the clothes bought by you and then get it done by the tailor. It's not like, not it is not happening these days. It is all about buying the dresses directly from the shops, by getting the measures and everything. Hmm? So that's why you start with the custom and then standardize them. So that's why when you look for a requirement, you have to know, do I have any standard things that I should be using? If not, then I will go for the custom. It should not be reverse. You should not start with the custom and then look for the standard. Okay, it's not the true scenario. Hmm? So now let's move on. Yeah, we talked about this one. So for a lot of the people who are not familiar of the aura components, mm, please hold, because that may not be relevant for you. But the people who are working in the aura components, that could be relevant for you, because you may have already created the aura components, right? Now you have to, let's say, add one bundle or one component into your page. Okay, so what do? You don't go create the aura component anymore, because lightning web component is the latest thing that you should be using, right? So create the lightning web component and then embed that in your aura component. Okay, but if you are already in the lightning web component, there is no point in creating the aura component anymore, because lightning web component cannot hold uh, aura component. It is not a right pattern, because you should not bring the old things into the new. Okay, you can bring the new things into the old, but not the other ways, right? So that's why lightning web component is being brought into the aura component, but not the vice versa. So if you are already in the lightning web component and you want to add more components, you create in the lightning web component and then add them. But if you are already in the aura component and you want to create one more new, then create a lightning web component and then add it. So that's why system is giving you privilege to add lightning web component into your aura component, but not the other way. Okay. We will talk all this later. Now, coming back here, uh, lightning component reference guide. So this is a handy. I mean, you should definitely bookmark if you are using. I mean, even if you are using aura component, these are the all standard component that is given by the Salesforce. I mean, standard usage of these components, how you can use different base components and then make your component. And this is your lightning web component. So please, do bookmark this one. Okay. And now if I come here, you see one developer guide. Developer guide is talking all about the lightning web component, lightning web component developer guide. Okay. So introduction. And now let's see how can we set up our developer org, right? So can you confirm if you guys have installed the Visual Studio or not? This is the Visual Studio editor uh, by Microsoft, which can support creating any languages that is available today in the market. And LWC is also something which can be built through the Visual Studio, and this is the only recommended integrated development environment. So we all should have this one. Could someone confirm whether you guys have it or not, or how many of you have not installed yet?
I do not have installed it.
I don't think it also.
Okay, so I think you can follow this one, right? So here, click on this one. It will take you to the version. So based on which operating system you are in, please download this one. And after downloading it, you have to click on the Salesforce extension pack for the Visual Studio. So if you go here, so after you download it, it will look like that one. And then this is the extensions. So if you click here, and then you can type Salesforce extension pack. Okay. Extension pack. See, I have installed it. That's why it shows me uninstall. But for you, you have to install it. So, homework for all of you is to install the Visual Studio and then install the Salesforce extension pack. So just follow the step here.
Okay, please share the link once. The link from where I can get the this page.
I already shared the link to you guys.
Okay.
In the
this one, right? Okay.
Yeah, but but if you click on this one, it will take you to the developer Lightning Web Component guide. But this is a deep link, specific link where you can go and then deploy or install the Visual Studio code and the extension pack. Okay. So after you are done, and I hope that you all have the developer edition signed up. So if I come here and then let's say click on this one, right? So this is my developer instance. Okay. So now what I have to do is I have to link one minute. Okay, so there is another link. I think I have created this this one long back. You don't have to do that much, but if you this is one of my blog. If you go here, so let's see this installation, right? Install Visual Studio Code and all, right? So here you don't have to do much. So it is just, so far I have talked about this. Now here is the thing that you have to follow. Connect with an existing org, because we have created the org. So now I will let you know how to connect that org with my Visual Studio, right? So if we look at this Visual Studio, it is actually not connected yet, right? So how do I connect? To do that, I have to do Control Shift P. If you uh, follow this, uh, copy. So these are the steps, or what you can do is I will give you the link here. Go to this link and then go to the section, right? Then you can follow. So what I have to do is, you see, from your org Visual Studio, press Command Shift P, or if you're in the Mac it is Control Shift P, right? For Mac or for the window, Control Shift P, and then it will tell you, the steps you have to do. Okay, so now let me go and do it. If I do Command Shift P, I have to create a project. If you see here, it is trying to activate the extension, and it might take some time. Yeah, so it says select the template. I'll say standards template. Okay? And the project name, let's say I'm giving the project name is our training. So it will say which folder you want to do it. So I'm creating a folder called our training 2, and then say create, and then create project. Okay, so as soon as I create project, it will actually create a project. And this is the structure you see on the left side. It has this is the metadata folders, or the full project folder, blank template folder it is created. So it has got applications, Aura, classes, flexi pages, layout, LWC, where we will mostly work, objects, permissions, and everything. Now, so after I create the project template, now it's a time to set up a org. See, it says no default org set, right? So what I'll do is Control Shift P, and then I'll see authorize an org. Authorize an org to where? It's a production one, right? So I'll click on this one. So what it will do is it will ask to give a alias. So it's again I can give the same name. Doesn't matter though. So it will what it will do, it will open up the screen to log in, so that it know where it wants to verify. Okay. So what I'll do is I will so I'm okay. So I'm logging with this. It is nothing. It is just telling the Visual Studio project is connecting to this org, okay, and then I'm allowing Visual Studio to access my org content. So that's why I'm clicking on this allow. So I should be done here, nothing to be done now here. But if I go back to the Visual Studio, it should say that successfully authorized LWC.com with the org ID. So it is now connected. So it is now connected. Now, if I go to the manifest, you will see, there are, we will talk about this later because there are a lot has to be, discussed. So package.xml is the you can call it an index of what are all the files connected from this folder to the org. So when I say star means I'm looking for all the Lightning Web component. I'm looking for all the Aura component. I'm looking for all the Apex triggers or the classes or the Apex classes to be connected with that org that I have registered. So if you look at this one, right? So our training org, this is my org that have connected with this project. Okay, and you see the folder structure. If you are in Aura, you will see all the Aura files here. If you are in LWC component, you will see all the files created here. Okay. So now, so far, any question? Are you guys able to follow me?
Suman.
Yeah.
So I have one question. So what is the difference between when we create a project with manifest and when we create a project without manifest in Visual Force, or maybe same for the Apex class or anything else?
Yeah, project with manifest means it's a it is with the template.
The package.xml.
No, not only the package.xml, but also you see all these structures are created, right?
Yes.
You try by yourself. So you try without manifest, then you will see all these folders, all these structures are not created.
Okay.
Okay, but mostly we I mean, see, this is because I mean, it was not there before because I mean, more we go, more we introduce new things and then make it easier for the developers and the users, right? So when you say project with manifest, it will give it will manifest everything what you need. Okay, and that's why you see all these structures, everything in front of you. But if you go without the manifestation, you will not get everything. Okay. So now, what I have done so far, I have connected my org, this org. I have connected. I am doing here. So I have connected this org with my Visual Studio. Any question from anyone else? Because this would be your homework to install Visual Studio.
Yes, Mona, I am having one question.
Yeah, tell me.
Can we rename my alias name for org after creating?
Yeah, you can do that. You can all do that, but those are very specific questions. I mean, you don't need that at this point of time. But
actually, by mistake, this means I have just while I'm creating my LWC component, by mistake I've just allowed that default org. Just VS Code default org, but now I want to change that name. So how can we do that?
That's fine. I mean, you leave it with that. I'll tell you that later. But that is not that important at this point of time.
Okay. Thank you.
So now, understand one thing, right? Here, you see, if I go and edit the page, you see all the standard components, 32 standards component. There is no custom component built yet. So what we will do now is, let's create a hello world component, custom component, okay, and then we'll conclude for the day. And then we will talk detail in our later session. So if you want to create something under the LWC, you hover you select LWC, and then you again do Control Command Shift or Control Shift P, and here you will see SFDX create lightning component. I'm seeing all these options because I already have created before, maybe that's why it is showing my recently used item. But if you don't find it, you say SFDX colon, you will see all these SFDX colon commands. Okay, so I'm doing create lightning web component. So what it says, what is the name you want to do? Say hello world. Hello world. And what is the location? It says force those app main default and LWC, because I have selected already, and that's why it is by default selecting. Otherwise, if you don't select this location, then you have to choose by yourself. But as I have selected, so I don't have to do any other path. I will select this one. So what it will do is, it is creating the lightning web component. Okay, so what it does is, it actually creates a folder called hello world, and inside that I have three things. One is the HTML, okay, and one is the JS, and one is the metadata. I will discuss all this later, not today. But remember one thing: every interaction has interfaces. So interfaces means what? There has to be someone who is interacting, and there is someone behind the scene. Okay, if you take your example, so your ear, face, eyes, nose are the interfaces of you. But behind the scene, underneath you have your heart, you have your mind, okay, which we cannot see. But there has to be something which can be interfacing to the external world. Okay, so for this component, the interface or the thing that we will see is the HTML, okay, which is the interface. And how the HTML will behave is the .js. Okay, so your face, your ear will behave the way your mind, your heart tells. Okay, the similar way, the HTML is the interface which everyone else will see, but JavaScript is what controls the HTML. Okay, and this is the metadata. I mean, it has some purpose, meaning we'll see when we go on. Now it says it is using the API version this, and it is not exposed. Okay, so if I let's say deploy, right click and deploy it to the source org. So let me deploy it. It is deploying. Yeah, so if you see this one, right, it says deploy source to the org successfully ran. So it is there. Now, if I come here, right, You see, I still don't have that managed, custom this one. So if I click on here and then reload the page, I still don't see that one, right? And this is a home page, right? To make this available, what I have to do is, sorry, so to make this available, I have to expose that as true. Means it is now accessible to the app pages. And what are the app pages it is accessible is this. Okay. So what I have done is I have made this one exposed, and where I am exposing, what are the targets? It is at this, means app pages, record pages, and home pages. So there are three kind of pages I can have. I mean, if you have done the admin certification side, you might know by now. You can create three different pages. One is the home pages that you have seen, one is the record pages that we have also seen, and one is the app pages. You can create your app pages similar to home or record, but it would be a custom app pages. So now I save it, control save, and then again I will deploy to the org. Okay, so when it is now deployed to the org, it is deployed now, right? Now if I go here and then do a refresh, let's see what we see here. See, I see this custom component now, right? So which means I have made this visible, and then to those three pages. So this is a home page. That's why I see this one, right? So if I like the way I drag the standard component, I can drag the hello world also. So let me save it. Let me save it and then activate. So I have activated this one. If I go back, see, I still don't see that one. Do you know why? Can someone tell me why I don't see that? Guys, I expect some answer.
Sir, the home target is not specified.
No, target is specified. I have given this target, and see, target is specified. That's why I was able to drag and drop.
Oh, save.
Go ahead.
Why it's not written there?
Yeah, go one by one. Tell me.
Maybe there is no data in the HTML file.
Yeah, you are right. So I have my HTML, but you see this is blank. There is nothing I have written to display. That's why it is not showing anything. So if I write down, this is my first LWC component I love it. So I save it now. Now, next thing, what I have to do?
Deploy source to org.
Yeah. So now I have to deploy source to the org. So this is my source. Source is nothing but the folder. I'll show you if I go here. If I go here in our training, right? Our training force.app main default and LWC, you will see the hello world, right? So, and you will see the 3 files. So this is actually my source. These files are my source, and I am deploying these source files into the org that I am connected with. Okay, and you see, if you see the command here, it is actually, now you see this one. So it says the deployed source. So I have deployed this into my Salesforce org. Okay. Now, if I go here in my home page, and then if I just refresh it, do I see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Now you see this one. This is my first LWC component, and I love it. So that's it. I mean, we now have created our first LWC component with just some text. Like the rich text box that we have used, I have created my own component, and I am writing my stuff, my sentence in that component, and then I'm displaying. Okay. So so your homework would be, you install the, go here, write down, I mean, install the Visual Studio, install the Salesforce extension pack. Okay. Install the developer edition. I mean, you must be having the developer edition, sorry. And then connect that developer org by doing by creating the project with manifest, and then authorize with an org, and then connect, and then create a Lightning Web component, and then go from there. Okay. So if you go here, okay. Okay. So any questions? This would be your homework for next 2 days until we meet on Friday. Any questions?
No question. Suman just wanted to ask, like uh, when we create a new LWC component, so in our XML file we have this is exposed is always false. So why is it false always? And we need to keep it true.
Yeah. So if you keep it true only when you want this to be made available into the palette, right? When we have done this one, let's say edit page, and then if you do you do you see all these 32 standard component given by Salesforce, right?
Yes.
Do you really feel that Salesforce has created only these 32 components? What do you feel?
Probably no.
Probably
There
not.
might be.
There might be other components. So this component is exposed to you to see and then use, drag and then use. But that does not necessarily mean that they have created only this component. Maybe this component is internally using many other components. Okay. So I am making this active equal to true only when I want this to be visible here. Okay. But let's say this hello world is calling some hello world 2 component, which I don't want this to be exposed here. In that case, I will keep that as false. So that's why by default, the option is always false, because default, it will not show up in your palette.
Okay.
But if you, I mean, the purpose is to, use that component internally, and some component which is exposed might be calling that component. That is by default nature. But if you really want to expose that to this palette, then only you come and activate as true.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yes.
Any other question from anyone? Okay. Do you guys feel the pace that I'm going is okay? You guys understand, or it should be slow, or I can make it faster, or I can keep the way I'm doing it now? See, the first session is mostly interactive sessions. I just wanted to, we have to make the chemistry between ourselves, so that we know each other, we feel comfortable with each other, we know what to deliver. I need to know how to deliver and when to deliver what, right? So please give me some feedback if you are okay with all these, or you need something different.
Suman, everything is great. Just for the homework, we just need to install the VS Code and attach our dev org to it. Anything else?
Yeah, I think that's it. You don't have to do anything else. You I think, could you guys please confirm me, let me, is that folder accessible to you guys? Can someone confirm me?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so check check the mm, check the LWC updated for a slide, okay, and then uh, refer the hello world, the first code, if you have forgotten, and then you follow this. This is bookmark this one, okay, without any mistakes, and then set up your org, install the Visual Studio, and then in download or install the Salesforce extension pack, and then do your create your first hello world, okay, and then next session we will talk more. Anything else before we conclude for the day? Is Animesh there, or who is recording the session? Was that Anshita?
I think it's Sanshita.
Okay. Anshit, are you there? Yeah, you can stop recording. That's fine. Okay, I think if you guys don't have anything else, please spend some time. I have not given you much work. It is mostly installations. Install your Visual Studio Code,